Just pause the video as I go through everything to see everything I use. Yeah, I still love Onslaughter melee Amon build, Ultimate Doom guy build. It is not as good as my previous video, my Ordnance dude. So now I just did all the same missions on my Vex Minion one, my Ordnance Amon, and now my melee Amon. The Vex and the melee Amon, they're both basically the same. They both clear mobs at a roughly the same pace. I think Vex is slightly better though. And Vex is better at flyers though, for sure. So we can't deny that. But flying swarms, I mean, you can always use, I can always just run away if I have to. I mean, you don't even have to fight a lot of them if you don't want to. There's very few fights in this game that demand you fight a flying swarm of enemies, but yeah. Still have to mention that. And when it comes to bossing, actually my melee Amon, I think, has it up on my Vex somewhat. From what I could tell, it looks like, at least with the second phase of the Timekeeper, he killed him slightly faster than my Vex Minion build. But again, if you look at it, they're both, again, roughly the same. When I fight the War Elephant at the end of this, when I do Battle Wagon, Big Encore Battle Wagon, I kill him instantly the first time, but that's because I just cycle between my beam tossers, which I could do the same thing on Vex. It's just on Vex, I don't use beam tossers on her because I like my version of having different elements for each situation on her. So beam tossers though make a lot of sense on both of my Amon builds because they rely on other stuff for damage a lot more. That you might as well just have the most amount of damage for alts on your guns that you just cycle between whenever you need to as you can. Also for dealing with the annoying elemental eaters, as you'll see in these videos too. So yeah, it's now the second time when I fought him like without relying on that, it took way longer. Because it's really because of Groundbreaker. If anything, I could have just used one beam toss and then meleeed and killed him probably instantly. Because of Groundbreaker's stacking damage off the beam toss from the shotguns, it obviously stacks a lot more damage for the bosses than it does from my my main gun, my oh my god gun and my Ordnance. So, and that makes sense though. But still, if you see these videos, you'll see it's like, okay, he clears mobs about the same pace as my Vex Minion one. He kills bosses at about the same pace, and they're also both about just as tanky as each other. If I'm being honest, it's like they're both kind of like. Now Amon is actually, I'd say, tankier, but then Vex has her minions further helping her survivability by not taking damage from everything on the field because of that, and then getting tons of different forms of lifesteal. However, having an infinite duration on Onslaughter for Amon is still pretty much invincibility mode too. So, but I could tell, especially when I fought the War Elephant who does a ton of damage, that it's like, yeah, he's definitely not as tanky as my Scourge Amon, Ordnance Amon. So, which maybe put him on the level as Vex, but that's the thing there. But basically, Vex Minion build and Amon Onslaughter build for endgame are just pretty much identical in terms of how good they are at everything. It's like mobbing, bossing, tanking, they're all basically the same. You could say the Vex Minion's slightly better. Actually, I would agree it's probably a better build because it's better in co-op since you have since those Reapers help your teammates too by taking the damage and distractions. So it's a better co-op build. And it's definitely a better level up build because you can become invincible out the gate with Vex. Now, Onslaughter Amon, I think, is the best one to level him up with because it's the easiest way to gain invincibility quickly on Amon while you're doing a level up build on him. But there's no question it's not as durable. Like, you will struggle sometimes, especially killing bosses. But, yeah, just because of how long it will take you to kill them. But for the most part, you'll still mostly be invincible. But, yeah, if we're going to compare it to level up build and then co-op build, then Vex is, and then also flyers, like I said, then Vex is better. So yeah, I'd say Vex Minion build probably does have the edge on the Onslaughter build, but they're mostly the same, really, when it comes to their viability. But the aim in Ordnance 1 is better than every way, of course. So this guy and my Vex minion, dude, like, Infinite Scourge is like infinite invincibility mode, period. So he is the most invincible you can get in this game. So, of course, Amon still holds the title for the tankiest Vault Hunter easily with that kind of loadout on him. And then Onslaughter is a close second, too. But I will say this, I love both my Amon builds, but I enjoy this one more because you feel like Doom Guy. Also, you're invincible enough that you don't have to worry about the boss fights, but the fact it takes you longer to kill them, it makes it feel like you actually have a fight. Like I could actually play some music at least during at least the second phase of the Timekeeper. But you'll see, I still kind of blink and kill bosses sometimes too because of the Beam Toss Groundbreaker combo I do on this guy. And by the way, my gun enhancement, you'll see, a 100% gun equipment, the gun equipment rate percentage is really what is key, I feel like. Because gun damage, gunfire rate, that's great. Helps all my guns, helps my melee damage too because of the buffs to action skill and melee damage off gun damage. And then Groundbreaker too. It stacks up Groundbreaker faster with more gun damage and gunfire rate. But the gun equip speed, I thought I'd go like gun splash damage, gun status power damage for another damage boost. But no, I'm glad I chose equipment speed because I literally just cycle all three of my... It's like perfect for the bossing again because it's just like I cycle my beam tossers just instantaneously. Immediately go back to my main chain lightning gun to start spraying that again, and then I immediately follow it up with a melee, and then it does a crap load of damage from Groundbreaker still. From all the different beam tossers. It's just a perfect setup, I feel like. So yeah, gun equipment speed, that was worth it for my gun enhancement, you'll see. I'm using a weaker shield than my Scourge dude, but by the way, I can still say he's not as tanky, because Scourge just makes you completely invincible, so it's really not the shield amount. But yeah, I'm using a slightly weaker shield because I don't have an identical one, and I have to use different firmware, so I've reached the point where I actually have to use different gear on this melee build in order to use it, since I have to use different firmware entirely on the two different builds now. I used to use similar firmware on both of them, but now it's like, no, they're entirely different, so I have to use entirely different gear. But I was lucky to get an identical version of the Recurrent Guardian class node, which is still the Recurrent Guardian purple class mod for Amon is the key and the only one I know, frankly, that allows you to have infinite uptime on your Onslaughter or Scourge. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now and we'll get right into it. Oh, but one last thing. Until you get a similar energy shield as the one I use for ultimate tanking, as well as being able to use I'm Got effectively and still be a super tank, I would recommend the best shields to use in the meantime would be the one that's called Glass on the legendary effect that gives you damage mitigation over time, or the one that drops off the Ripper Queen that I actually use on my other Amon build, but it's like a perfect roll with triple turtle on it. But if you get one of those with turtle on it, I think that would just at least one roll of turtle or shield capacity on one of those two, stacking with their damage reduction abilities as well, I think that would be good enough. I'm sure I'd still be pretty much invincible everywhere here too on UVH5 with just a version of one of those shields. I don't use What's for Dinner. What's for Dinner way too weak for durability, unless, well, if you can get it to roll with turtle, then maybe. If I get a triple turtle roll What's for Dinner, I would absolutely use that for this one, but I don't even know if you can get that yet. But yeah, I would not use What's for Dinner just because, like, you're going to be way more frail without the, you'll still be tanky, but you'll probably have to do more evasion, I feel like, because you'll be taking big honking. There's always some big hits that will probably just rip your entire shield off with a shield like that, so that's why I still recommend. Again, the more shield you have, the more you regenerate from Onslaughter. You have to always remember that. It's percentage-based regen.
Planet. You don't care about the people of Kairos. You're here.
This was personal from the start. You're a vault hunter, antithetical to my order. The vault will stay closed.
The command bolts will open the way. I dedicate this to you, Zadra. Door as large as the Timekeeper's ego. I must be drawing close.
I am enjoying the moment to myself. Stargazing. Join me, if you like. Just think, Vault Hunter.
If you had never arrived, we would still have futures, gleaming and bright, within the Timekeeper's crystalline order.
But now we all will die. Every last soul. Because of you. And you. Yes. All I have ever known is forever. That is my use. Forever. Here. As the clock ticks, I remain still. My order is eternal. You are a moment that shall soon pass. So let's enjoy it.
I am not afraid of the Timekeeper's powers.
I'll wipe the slate clean. Enough! Free will. A rampant tumor, killing my perfect system. And why should you get to be free? All you do is destroy, while I must hold back chaos for eternity!
You think you're the prisoner? You did all of this yourself.
Is that what I look like through the eyes of a Vault Hunter? Someone who has a choice. I was given an order. Even cages.
Ready, set, showtime.
Challenge. A pity. I was starting to like you. False guardians do not mean false treasure. End this malformed thing suffering and take from it that with which the Timekeeper imbued it. A portion of his power misplaced.
A Vault Hunter must have his start.
All that has happened will happen again.
Ugh.